Peace, peace. Let's get my guest on here. What's going on, everybody? This is AGG, your average gun guy. And you know, we are back with another live. Let me go ahead and get the notes up in here. Get my guest on, get my host on here with me. Hope everybody's been doing good out there. Hope everybody's been staying safe, keeping your training up. And man, how is ammo looking in your town? How's ammo looking in your neck of the woods? Is it plentiful? Are the shelves looking barren? How's it looking out there where you guys are at? So give me one quick second here. Let me get my host on. All right. All right, there we go. We're live. Everything's looking good. I guess we'll be joining in just a second. He's got some topics tonight that we are going to be covering. It's going to be a great show, guys. It's going to be a great show. So make sure that you tune in. Get you guys some popcorn. Get you something to drink. Get relaxed. Get settled in. It's going to be a good show tonight. Let me get that volume down. Oh. There we go. Get myself all set. Guess will be joining us in just a quick second. Just a quick second. But yeah, as you guys join in, let us know where you're at, where you're from, where you're checking in from. All right, we're getting set up, guys. We're getting set up, everybody. Give us just a moment here. We're getting set. Boom. What's going on?
What's up, AGG? How are you doing today, brother?
What's happening with you, Driso?
Oh, not a whole lot, man. Just, busy on my day off.
Indeed. Yeah, man, we stay busy out here. And as these days get darker earlier, man, it throws everything off, man. I don't know what it is, but it throws everything off.
It really does, brother. It felt like there wasn't enough time in the day, but we managed to get everything done. And of course, we're here. So it's a great day.
Yep, we are here. Is your guest going to be able to join us?
No, he is out of town. Black Powder Papa is out of town, but I think we'll have a couple special guests in the chat tonight. Mike's Life, who just hit 100,000 subscribers, and then of course my one and only father should be in the chat as well. So
nice,
much appreciated.
All right.
It's hard when you're a successful man, and you got these big time jobs, and try to squeeze a stream in right now is a little difficult.
I'm telling you, brother. I'm telling you, man. Like I say, man, it's busy out here right now. So definitely understand, and I always appreciate you joining. Always appreciate you understanding when I can't join. And now that we've got more direct communication, it'll be a little bit easier to communicate. So I don't know why we didn't think of that in the first place. We're always just kind of like, all right, I'll see you on Tuesday.
Yep. No,
we got that figured out.
Yeah, I run a streaming channel for a video game called Apex Legends, and me and my buddy Knock, he lives down in Houston, and we still don't have each other's phone numbers. We've been hanging out for like 3 years, and we just text on the Xbox app, and like, why don't we have each other's phone numbers?
Hey, that's funny, man. That's funny.
Yeah.
All
All right.
right.
So are we ready in this topic? I know we talked a little bit about it. I know you're not too up to date with the case as far as the Rahimi in the Supreme Court, but
I did look into it a little bit, so that's cool. If you want to go into that, I did take a look at it, so that is cool.
Okay,
I'm just
so
getting some
okay.
things said here.
Okay, so for everybody that doesn't know about the Rahimi case, so the Rahimi case is actually before the Supreme Court right now. It had its first hearing, I believe, last Tuesday. They've gone through several hearings now of the back and forth between the DOJ and the defense. Basically, what this case was is a gentleman by the name of Rahimi. He was involved in 5 shootings, and before I continue, I want to let everybody know that he was involved suspectedly in 5 shootings. Granted, he may not be the best human in the world, but I believe in our justice system and the way it is, and it is innocent until proven guilty. And so that is how I'm going to pertain to this case. He was not picked up on any of those charges. He was picked up on 922G8, which is the Lautenberg law put in place by Bill Clinton back in 1997. It is Class A misdemeanor of domestic violence, the same thing that kind of prohibits me outside the state of Texas. It is not a felony; it is a misdemeanor, and what it does is it removes your firearm rights. But his is even pre Lautenberg as far as how the law affects you. It is the domestic violence restraining order. So this is a civil restraining order, which means that if anybody goes to a court and says he hit me, he yelled at me, he threatened me, he parked behind me, then the courts will issue a restraining order, which removes your firearm rights at that point in time. You don't have to, you're supposed to be present, but you don't have to be. They don't have to notify you, and it just basically happens. Rahimi, he actually had a license to carry. So at one point in his life, he was able to get a license to carry, which means his fingerprints, full background checks, beyond all belief, everything, and he was allowed to have one of these. So anyway, he was caught up on the domestic violence restraining order. They went to his house. He had a rifle and a handgun. He said they were his, and he was arrested on it. He was charged. He tried to appeal it all the way to the Fifth Circuit pre-Bruin, and was denied because of what our country has done since 1968 was the public safety, if you will, like a crap that has no standings. It's pretty much like whoever I feel like shouldn't have guns, you shouldn't have guns. It's one of the worst things that has plagued our society, plagued our justice system, and it should have never existed. Upon Bruin being released, it is literally Heller from 2008 being reestablished and affirmed that we go by history, text, and tradition. So the text of the Second Amendment says we the people have the right to keep and bear arms, and it shall not be infringed. Okay. So when a court case goes now because of Bruin, it says, all right, it has to pass the text. Does it pass the text? Obviously it does. Then they have to go back to history. Like I said, this law was put into effect in 1997. Okay. Amazon is literally older than it. And so they have to go back to the 1791 era to 1826 and see if there are any laws in place that would prohibit somebody from owning a firearm. Surprised there aren't any. There is a dangerous and violent person. It was actually labeled, if you look at the history, which is why I love history so much. And now that we have a Supreme Court ruling, which is law of the land, we have to only look at history and tradition of this country. And so basically what it is there was dangerous and violent people that their guns were removed from them. This were the mentally ill. Okay. They weren't allowed to possess guns. And it was people who actually were for tyrannical overreach of America that were loyal to Britain is who we would remove guns from. So the exact opposite of what they're trying to do now. All these people that come out and say they're anti-gun, they're anti-America, America's a racist country, America's this, America's that, we hate America. Those people can have guns, but we can't. And so it's literally flip-flopped. But because of this case, it has opened up something more beautiful, whether you're a prohibited person or you're not. This will affect every, God-fearing, patriot in America who loves their country, who has fought for their country, has died for their. You, as somebody who's been in the military, you knew for a fact that when you joined the military, you signed your rights away.
Indeed.
You signed your rights away. You have no rights. You work for the government. You work to uphold the Constitution. You protect freedom at all costs, and if it includes your life.
100%.
So now we have a case literally going before the Supreme Court, which has already been enacted for a week. Okay. And because it has been enacted for a week, the DOJ has come out and said several things favor on our side that are now on public documented records in front of a Supreme Court that can never be taken away again. The DOJ literally stated that if you are not a felon, you cannot have your rights taken away. That throws this law away completely, because they agree with it. The text agrees with it, and the history agrees with it. So that's where this case is right now.
Quick question for you. So with this new case, with the new case, did they overturn it? Are you saying that they've overturned that? What Clinton put in place in 96 or was it 97?
97. No,
Okay.
it is still ongoing.
Okay.
Case is still open.
Okay. It's still fighting. Okay. Got it.
Yes. Still fighting it. This Supreme Court cases don't take a week. They take several months. We know this when something is accepted by the Supreme Court, which, by the way, the Supreme Court has hundreds, if not thousands, of cases submitted to them weekly. And they select very, very few because our process is designed that way. Now, one of the beautiful things about living in this country is it takes a while to overturn a law or to make a law. Mm-hmm. And we've seen that, unfortunately, go full-fledged and full bore, like with the Lautenberg law with Bill Clinton. Both that, the House of Representatives accepted like that because it was a feelings thing. There was no real digging into it. Mm-hmm. And it was accepted. Everybody thought it was stupid. The problem with this law, though, is the only law on the books, as far as the Second Amendment goes, that was retroactive. And police and military had no immunity from it. Wow. It is the only law ever put in place where those three things were put into effect and makes no sense. So,
wow. That is crazy, brother. That is crazy. I'm definitely familiar. I remember when Clinton came out with that. I know it affected a lot of people, brother. And it was to me, like you say, it was just total BS. It's like it's just another way to try to disarm Americans, another BS way, because like they said, anyone could call on anybody and say that something happened. It's like, I don't like, did you have to be convicted, or you could even just be charged? If I'm not mistaken, they could take your gun as you were waiting for your trial or something to come up. Am I not mistaken?
Yes.
Yeah, crazy.
It literally turns our justice system on its head and talks about how innocent until proven guilty. It's now guilty until you prove your innocence or how guilty you are.
Right.
Biggest flaw on its face of what this law is. So you could have had an issue back in the 70s with an ex-wife, and y'all got into a loud argument, and someone was called. A neighbor called the police on you. There was no physical contact. There was no threats. It was just you guys were loud arguing, right? We all make mistakes. We are all human. We've all fallen short of the glory of God. There's no question about it. But that could have happened in the 70s, and you could have owned guns. You could have had an FFL. You could have had a concealed handgun license. You would have been a police officer. And in 1997, when they signed that bill, you were stripped of your rights. You were lost of your duty, and you were retired from whatever you were involved in.
Wow. Man, that is impactful, brother. That is seriously impactful. It's amazing how they slip these things in there without the majority of people even knowing about it, unless they're affected by it. And that's how a lot of things go. So that's why it's good to have shows like this, to have shows like, other shows that are out there that are giving information, guys, because these are things you might not even know about. So be careful with who you choose to date, live with, all those type of things, because until this is overturned, this is something that you could potentially have to deal with or face yourself. And before we continue really quick, Drizo, let me give a quick shout out, man, to everybody that's joined us so far. Dress to Kill, always with us, man. Good to see you, brother. Above and Beyond and Forever. Mario, what's up, guys? What's up, fellas? Anybody else who's joining us, feel free to go ahead and jump on stage. I've dropped a link. I'm going to leave another link for you guys to join us here, but feel free to get on board. We're just having a good conversation. Two good old Americans talking about American rights tonight, guys.
Absolutely. No, we absolutely are. And this is something that I've even brought to police officers' attention. I've, in my day-to-day business, I run a restaurant and bar, and police officers at my location receive 50% off their meal. That is something I stand by. I fought to get military and former military 20% off. I take that to heart. That is something very serious to me. And I have spoken with several of these police officers, and believe it or not, a lot of them don't even know what this law is. They've never heard of this law. It's obscure, but it's something that affects you. And I can tell you right now, for me personally, it does affect me. I can't travel outside of Texas with guns. I can never get an LTC. I can never purchase a firearm, but I never get denied. I am left on a infinite delay, if you will. If I were to try to go purchase a gun at Bass Pro or Cabela's or Rifle Gear or wherever, right, I would fill it out. I would answer the questions honestly, and I would get put on delay. My delay would be infinite. I would never be denied, and I would never be approved. It's a very weird loophole. I'm allowed to carry firearms in the state of Texas. We have checked with lawyers. Like I said, I have an ATF guy who is a regular at my bar, and he has confirmed this as well. And they are the sole proprietors of this law. There's no way to regain your quote unquote full rights nationwide. Get a presidential pardon or a governor's pardon. A presidential pardon to even apply starts at $400,000. A governor's pardon starts at $45,000 to $50,000.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Man, that is crazy. That's crazy, brother. That is crazy. So you're telling me, I just need to be clear. So someone could, like you say, get, neighbors could hear some fussing going on next door or something.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a dramatic boyfriend or dramatic girlfriend, whatever. It could go both ways.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the state you live in says, man, we've been called out here for a domestic disturbance. So somebody's got to come back with us. Who's it going to be? And one of you makes that choice. Now, in order to get your gun rights fully restored, man, 400, that is crazy. That is,
yes.
It's a deterrent. Obviously, it's a deterrent. It's obviously there to make you say, oh, it's gone. It's nothing to be done now. Mm-hmm. Give it up.
Yep. Yep.
Man, that is crazy. That is crazy.
I've had a sheriff tell me, and I kid you not, and I won't name the sheriff or what county he's in, but he literally said, you probably should have just actually punched her in the face because you would have had your firearm rights back as a living.
Man, it's like crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. As a felon, you actually have a pathway to restore your firearm rights. You have a way. It costs about between $200 and $1,000. Whether or not you want to fill the paperwork out or you want to have a lawyer do it. But basically, you just have a bunch of references in your community of what you do and how you've changed your life, and you can get your gun rights back 9 times out of 10. I mean, for like a federal, like you're not getting it back. But if it's a basic felony, like you can get your firearm rights back. This law,
we are all about people getting their gun rights back. So that's for sure. If you guys have lost your right, man. Get them back. There's no reason why you should not be able to defend yourself, protect yourself. I mean, I can't even tell you what the reasons should be why you shouldn't be able to have it, but we all need to have the right to bear arms. And just really quickly, guys, there's another topic that I saw that just came up. Lorenzo, what up, Lorenzo? He just brought this up. He says, can we use braces now, or should we wait till the Supreme Court hearing? And Drizo, we don't have to jump into that just yet, but I definitely do want to jump into that. I want to come back and jump into that topic about the pistol brace, before we get done here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And mark that because I have the answer for that. I've watched
Nice.
20 hours in the past week about it, and yeah, it's confirmed. I won't say anything yet, but yes, you can. Um,
Mhm.
no, but so anyway, this law it's a tricky thing depending on what state you're in. You know,
Mhm.
I've got a if you'll call him an informant, right? He
Mhm.
lives in West Virginia. I won't say his name. He deals with law enforcement daily. He deals with the FBI daily. He has
Mhm.
the same charge as me. He carries a firearm every day, concealed, and he'll never get arrested. He's confirmed that with the FBI. This law does not warrant an arrest. No local police officer, no state trooper, no marshal, no Texas Ranger, anybody will ever be able to arrest me because the law does not establish that. I've been given my rights back, but
Right.
banned for life. The only person that will ever be allowed to arrest me is an ATF officer, and an ATF agent will tell you hands down, I'm never going to try to bring a federal case for a misdemeanor.
Mm.
Um, the whole thing with the Rahimi case, the reason it got all the way to the Supreme Court is because he was accused of some really bad stuff. I mean, 5 shootings within
Mhm.
like 2 months. All right. On video, like, again, he's not been convicted in a court of law. So I will say he's innocent until proven guilty, but the odds are kind of stacked against him. But that's not even what we're talking about. What we're talking about is what he got arrested for. And
Got
what he
it.
got arrested for and what the DOJ has admitted is like, it's not historically protected. This law cannot stand. This whole section, these two questions on the 4473 are not constitutional at all.
Mhm.
And what that is addressing outside of even that and myself is who we the people are. That's the biggest question of this case. Who we the people are. If you are a part of we the people, you do in fact have the Second Amendment. If you're not, then guess what? I'm not paying taxes.
Indeed.
And I don't
Indeed.
know you, but the government sure is pretty gritty about their money.
Yeah, indeed. MJ just posted in the chat right now. He says, "I'm waiting on a state pardon." He says it takes 7 to 9 months for a hearing. So, man, I wonder how much was that, MJ? I mean, how much did you? How long did this take before you got that process rolling?
Yeah, because it takes a while to even get a hearing. It
Mhm.
takes even longer for the decision to come out, and it takes even longer because you have to wait a certain amount of years. Like in the state of
And I'm
Texas,
sure you're right. And sure, like you said, it's different state to state too.
it is. But in the
Yeah.
state of Texas, you have to wait 5 years after release of parole, probation, or imprisonment to apply because you'll just get denied every time.
Got
And
it.
if you get denied, you can't reapply for another 2 years. So you're looking at a denial first time. You're looking at 7 years.
Mm,
Be like, hey, and I know you, AGG, and myself. There's a lot we can do with 7 years of our life.
indeed.
This has been 7 years of my life, and I have a wonderful, incredible wife. I have 6 amazing, beautiful kids. I am a successful operator of a restaurant bar. I am a recovery pastor for drug addicts. I run security in my church. I run security for my kids at their co-op. I'm a productive member of society by all means. Um, and there's no pathway for me to even get that direction.
Man, it's crazy, brother. It doesn't even make sense at all. Then, like you say, then there's actual convicted felons who have held up the bank or something, took people hostage,
Yep.
and they're in their process for restoring their gun rights is easier. It's an easier path. All right, MJ says he's in South Carolina, so
Yeah, South Carolina that's a good one. The best
that's good
state,
information, MJ. Thanks for sharing that, brother.
to live in if you're a convicted felon is Kansas. So Kansas has a law where upon your release of imprisonment and parole, you're
Mhm.
automatically restored all of your rights.
Mm.
Um,
That's a good. That's pretty. Sounds fair to me. People paid their debt.
yeah,
What more is it that they should pay? And imagine how many people who so people who are listening out there who have a record or who whatever, don't take the risk of of just keep carrying. I know you got to defend yourself, but don't take the risk because you think that you can't get your rights restored. Go try to look into it and figure it out so that you can be legit and feel comfortable and feel good about carrying out there any and all times.
No, you're absolutely right. But for me, I'm a little different on that, HG. It is, it's, from my beliefs as a Christian, it is stated in the Bible, Christ commanded us to, in fact, carry a weapon and to protect ourselves and our family first. That is what you do as a, my biggest teaching that I've learned from several great men in my life is, if you don't go around looking for trouble, if you mind your own business, nothing will ever become you. And if and when that time does come, if and when that time does come, all right. So say I've got to protect, multiple people out in an area, and I'm carrying, a firearm, and they're going to look at me and go, "Oh, well, you got this on your record." Okay. I just saved 30 people. How well do you think this is going to go in a court of law? Especially being in the 5th district, the most conservative district in all of America. Like, there's nothing more I can say. I can't comment directly to what I tell you should or should not do for, obvious reasons. But you should, in fact, protect your family no matter what.
Indeed. I agree. I agree 100%. Agree 100%. You got to defend. Listen, man, there's a phrase Ice Cube said in a song long ago: "I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6 any day." You know what I'm saying? So let them judge me. But man, like you just said, I just saved 30 people's lives, including my own. So I'll take that any day.
Yeah, I will. I will take that any day. And by the faith by, no ill will come to me. I know for a fact that God doesn't have a plan for me to live the next 30 years in prison. I've got obviously more to do outside. And, there's some people that, God has chosen to run down that path, but that definitely is not me. And, when it comes to these laws, we're watching them fall left and right. And even that, with the Supreme Court case, it is the first time in the history of our country where a Supreme Court justice has actually brought up another case and tried to compare it with this one that has not even been accepted for Supreme Court review. This is the Range case. This is a gentleman back in 1995 who falsified some documents so he can get some tax stamps, take care of his wife and kids. Said he didn't make as much money as he did, but didn't make enough. He made too much to get it, but not enough to live off of it. And he owned up to it and pled guilty to it. It was actually a misdemeanor. But because it faced 3 years in prison, they automatically ruled it as a felony. And so this case is actually up for Supreme Court review. And one of the justices actually pulled it up and referenced it in the middle of this case. That is a huge deal. That is bigger than most people realize. And that is something that I guarantee you a lot of people have overlooked, because what they're saying is that nonviolent felons should be able to have their firearm rights as well. This whole dangerous and violent thing that is from the founding era is not what we would think of today. These are men that have killed senselessly, that have gone in and raped and pillaged areas. These are the people I'm referring to. It wasn't someone that made a mistake when they were 18 years old and unfortunately they had a kid and they had no money, and so they got stressed and put up and decided to go rob a 7-Eleven with a gun. That's a kid that had no guidance. He had no father. He made a mistake and he's going to pay his debt. The worst thing that you can do is tell him you're less than, and you'll never be good enough to have this. And even if we let you out, you can't protect them. To me, that demasculates a man. That
Absolutely.
You're not built for the job that you are designed for. And that is also addressing some issues, and hopefully that case comes up too. But in the end of this conversation, we will have an answer by June. I've had several people who are heavily involved in law enforcement and things like that said, "Jeff, I have no doubt by next summer you'll have an FFL and your life will change forever."
Nice, man. Nice. So you're gonna so FFL that's so you can be able to manufacture machine and like be able to sell guns
Yes, yes, sell guns, but
and
really,
and manufacture,
in manufacturing.
or am I mistaken?
But really, what it is yeah, the whole suppressor thing. We have the whole suppressor case in Texas right now, but really, it's the ability to, because my wife wants to go to the Sonoran Desert Institute. She
Okay.
learn how to be a gunsmith, how to repair.
Good.
I want to learn more about it as well.
Mhm.
But really, to be able to be a productive member of society, so you can educate and benefit somebody in a way. You should have a you should have a skill and an asset that is beneficial to your community. And within doing that, I can have that skill and asset to be able to do that for people. And that's ultimately why I want it. Yeah, cool. Shot off shotguns, they're fun. Machine guns, I think they're completely overrated. They're a novelty. You can ask anybody, including yourself, probably. Nobody in SF ever ran full auto. It was either 3-round burst or semi-auto. You're way more accurate, you're way more efficient with boom, boom, boom than just holding
Yep.
on and spraying and praying, if you will. So,
Indeed. Got it. All right, man. Well, I know you're gonna get that, brother. Good luck on that. No problem at all, man. I know that's like I say, all of these laws and things are coming to the surface and they're getting pushed out of there, just like this pistol race that we're about to go right back to. So Lorenzo asks, can we now use pistol braces or should we wait till the Supreme Court hearing? Before I get my take on it, I'll let Dreezer go ahead and chime in, brother. What you got?
yes, you can.
Indeed.
We have
Indeed.
a nationwide block in a federal court that said that this law is, in fact, unconstitutional on its face. The ATF has no jurisdiction to create laws in any way. This goes back to the EPA case, which I'm sure a lot of people don't even know what it's about. It's got to go with, in the Northeastern District, they had a shipping company that said that you were required to have a logger or a safety person on your ship, and you had to pay them upwards of $500 a day to go out and fish. You had smaller companies that would go out for 2 to 3 weeks at a time, and you've got to pay this person $500 a day to sit in the captain's helm and just sit there and make sure everything is logged and checked and yada, 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 right? They essentially did nothing. And so they brought this before the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court hearing came back and said, yeah, you can't do that. You can't make up laws if you are not Congress. We have a process and steps that you must go through in this nation to be able to pass these laws. And you are not one of those entities. And because of that law, this federal judge literally cited that case and said, you cannot just say a pistol brace in common use between, what do they say, something stupid like 2 and 10 million. To be honest with you, it's like 40 million braces are in this country right now. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Like you say, estimated 40 million.
Yeah. So you can't just say, you can't take away something that is in common use that has no effect on you whatsoever.
Nah.
The fact that Biden said that if you put a pistol brace on your AR-15, it turns it from a 223 to a 30-06, or it turns it to a the guy's an effing joke. Like, it's a laughing stock. It does not do anything but
exactly. It's a joke.
It more control over it. Yeah. But the ATF already approved it in 2012. So for 10 years, these were okay, and all of a sudden they're not okay anymore. Nice try. So yes,
not unless you pay that $200. Without that $200, they're dangerous. They're dangerous. But if you pay that $200, or you took that, you use that quote unquote amnesty period to register, hey, which just puts you on the books, man. Listen, any country that has went through that process of making registrations go in place, what was the next step? Confiscation. Now they know where everybody's guns are at. They know who has them. They know when to come get them. And that's only, again, going to affect law-abiding citizens. It has nothing to do with, criminals, people on the street, people who are getting guns and weapons illegally. It won't affect them at all. They'll continue to get it, and it'll just make more regular citizens become criminals because everyone's going to have to defend themselves by any means necessary. And so I know I'm going to continue to defend myself regardless of what comes up, what they make up. I'll figure out a way to defend myself and my family.
No, absolutely.
So Lorenzo, No, go ahead, brother. You got
No,
it.
no, absolutely. So, Lorenzo, you can in fact have your pistol brace on. It was a federal nationwide block. This was a federal court that said that this law is unconstitutional on its face. And until there is a direct challenge that goes to the Supreme Court, you are allowed to have your pistol brace on. In no way, shape, or form is it illegal. Or are you committing a crime? Anyway, mine never came off regardless. But you can, in fact, have a pistol brace. They ruled it unconstitutional. This was a nationwide block. If you don't believe me, you can go look at Armed Scholar. He is a certified lawyer out of the state of California. He has spoken on this. Several other YouTubers, news articles, everything. They have all the links below. You can, in fact, have one on, and you should have never took it off to begin with. That's just my opinion. So,
indeed. I hear you, brother. I even gave options back in the day for something that was like a brace, but it was not a brace. And that's listen, guys. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a gun tuber or whatever we call it. I put out a lot of information about guns and stuff. So if there is any easy pickings or somebody that they would have wanted to make an example out of, it wouldn't have just been some random person. It would be somebody who's got some form of visibility, somebody that they could point to and say, look at this, look at that, look at this, look at that. So things that I did were very strategic. But like Drizo said, brother, my brakes, I didn't buy those weird looking buffer tubes. I don't call them, they're weird to me, but yeah, I know you guys thought they were cool. They had little twists and turns all in them. Man, forget all that. I left every one of my braces on, even the one that I showed y'all in that video. I just showed y'all that for the video, and my brace went right back on.
exactly. I mean, you had guys even selling tennis balls for like $20 a piece.
Exactly. Like, yeah, use a tennis ball, but this is the special tennis ball.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can absolutely have your brace on.
Yeah.
Screw the ATF, but even like I said, I have someone who works for the ATF. He's if you call it like the white van guy that sits there on the computer and tells them, all right, go. That's him.
Gotcha.
Most of the people on that level of the ATF believe the exact same way we do. They believe gun laws are unconstitutional. They literally got into it because they want to stop actual criminals, people that are trying to migrate guns back to Mexico, people who are selling 400 Glock switches, and it's not Tom, Dick, and Harry down the street. It's your gangbangers grabbing them and trying to, basically run amok with them and do drive-bys.
Right.
Real criminals who are their intent is to create great bodily harm and death. That's the belief of most of the lower ATF, and that has changed my opinion on the ATF. But those ones that are higher up, that are on the face of the news and stuff, yeah, those are the career politicians, and we know what career politicians do. They corrupt, they steal, they thrive. They know nothing about it. I mean, you even know the director of the ATF. If anybody's ever watched him for 5 minutes, he's admitted, he's like, I know nothing about guns. I'm a lawyer. And yet you're in charge of the entire government side that controls firearms. So that's scary.
Indeed. So yeah, Lorenzo says, appreciate it. No problem, brother. No problem at all.
Yeah. And just so you know, if you put a brace on your gun, it will not change the caliber. I just want to debunk that misinformation right now.
Exactly. Not that any of us on this channel that are listeners here at the AGG Nation believed any crazy madness like that in the first place. I mean, just listen to how ridiculous that sounds. You slide this piece of plastic on the back of your buffer tube, and now all of a sudden that changes the gun into some deadly assault weapon. And before, what was it? I don't know, but now that this thing is on there, it's an assault weapon. So I mean, it's crazy, man. They'll keep making up. If we allow it, they'll keep pushing the line. It's just to see how if we push back. So we've always got to stand up for all these little small changes, even like the change that my brother's saying here that happened with Clinton back in '97. We've got to be aware of anything that affects our rights to bear arms, because all of these little small things being put here, it's like a landmine. They're trying to make it so that no matter what you do, you'll end up walking on one of these landmines somehow or another. And that we got to know how to navigate that minefield.
You do. You absolutely do. And this goes back to a solid point. I want to make a side note real quick, and we'll get off the topic. But, I had this conversation the other day, and, people know that I'm a Christian. I'm outspoken about it. Why would you run a bar? Why would you run a place where degenerates, lowlifes, prostitutes, gamblers, addicts would go? Well, if you've ever read this weird book called the Bible, that seems to be the only place that Jesus hung out. And some of these people aren't good. They're hurt. They're broken. They're wrong. They're doing this. They're doing that. But at the end of the day, all these self-righteous people, whether it's in a church, whether it's in the ATF, whether it's in the government, whether it's in whatever you can name, right? I'm better than you because I don't do this, this, or this. And, you know, that's where corruption really does begin to evolve. Us average Joes, if you will, we try to become successful, and very few of us make it through because we choose not to sacrifice our morals, our ethics, and our way of life. And yet we still keep pushing through. But I can tell you this right now from experience. You know, I know people that have been on the right side of the law and the wrong side of the law. And the people that have made mistakes and come back from that, you know, and we've spoken about this before, I won't trust anybody that doesn't have scars. I don't trust anybody that has not made a mistake and recovered. Those are true people that appreciate what they have and what they've come from. So anybody out there, if you've made a mistake, if you've, you know, fallen on the wrong side of the law, it's not the end of your life. I don't care what the government says about you. I don't care about what they say that you are good enough or not good enough to do. If you've made a mistake, come back from it and made yourself better because of it, and you have a family, or you're looking to start a family, or you find that person, like, you are greater value than somebody who's never messed up or never been caught, in my opinion.
Indeed. Agree 100%. Hey, man, I got a question for you. What is your opinion on or what are your thoughts on folks who do you think it's more important to have good gear or better training? So let me put it in a good perspective. I think I probably already have an idea what you're going to think, but here's the question. Let's say I've got a regular size, like not regular size, or like a mid-tier or even a lower tier AR-15 setup, right? But I've got access to a bunch of training. Or should I get the $7,000 AR build and have access to no training other than, you know, my own I make it up as I go? Which one, you know, what's your choice on
that? I think it's obvious.
It's obvious to me, indeed.
I would rather trust somebody next to me who has put in the dry fire training, who has put in the rounds, who has put in the expertise, who has put in the thinking, the planning of what can and if does happen, and they're carrying a $250 pistol versus that guy who, you know, has that Wilson Combat $3,000 1911 and has shot it twice in his life. You know, me right now, I can even show you this right now. This is my rig setup for my plate carrier. So I've got this right here. This is my Spartan body armor plate carrier.
Nice.
I got this on sale. It was for my birthday, but I know how much they paid. I got an incredible deal on it. It came with a plate carrier, 2 level 3A plates that can stop 2 rounds from a 30-06, but it'll stop AR, AK all day. I got it on sale for about $225. Normally it's about $385.
Yeah, they're pretty expensive. I got a Spartan carrier as well. I've got armor in there as well. I've got the heavier armor. I've got the steel armor in there. Not the steel, but the it's not the ceramic. I can't. I may be saying it wrong, but it's the hard. It's hard as heck, and it's pretty heavy.
Yeah,
it's not the one that I actually want in there because that frags, you know, that frag will get all in you. But it's a good start, and it's good to have. It's better than not having anything. I've got that, and I've got another bulletproof body vest thing that I got from a from a gentleman at a gun show. It's super nice, man. Super nice. I like that. It's something you could wear like when you're, you know, dressed up or, you know, wearing nice clothes or something you wear under your clothes, and it's not very visible. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, my biggest thing, I don't care. You know, we've had some stuff happen in my family where, you know, my family's wealthy. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I live a very humble life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm as blue collar as it gets. I really am. I'll never fit in with the white collar people. And I travel in those circles a lot with what I do. Um, it does not take as much money as you think it does to be in this lifestyle. You know, today, as a matter of fact, I call him my brother. He's not biologically, but he's one of my good friends. You know, I'd die for him. You know, he's getting married in December, and he has one handgun. You know, he's got a Smith and Wesson old school EZ that's got an 8+1 magazine for a 9mm. I said, buddy, I said, you're about to have a wife. You're going to have a stepdaughter. All right. You're going to leave yourself defenseless when you go to work and they're at home. I said, this can't happen anymore. I said, you come over. I said, you're going to pick a shotgun out that I have, house for home defense. You know, and they picked my 16 gauge side by side. I said, you can borrow this until you buy your own. That doesn't matter if that's in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. I gave them viable options where they can go buy a shotgun. But it does not take a lot of money. It really.
Indeed. And shotguns are reasonably priced as it is. So
they really are. You
indeed.
can pick up a Maverick 88 like security for like $250 right now at a.
Yep.
That gun will chamber 500 rounds and not break. I mean, those guns are indestructible.
Indeed.
But it doesn't take as much money as most people think. I was one of those people that thought, man, I don't make enough. And you know, I live very comfortably. I make a pretty decent living. And I have an assortment plethora of things. And you don't have to go to the extremes I went to. I mean, I even have more guns coming to me, you know, but I would rather trust somebody who had to budget and really wanted to learn these techniques and these abilities to communicate. And all right, these are our safe points. This is where we need to meet if something happens within our country, whether it's a terrorist attack or martial law or any of that stuff. And they have a shotgun and a handgun and a rifle, and that's all they have. You know, they have what, $1,200–1,300 invested in it, you know, versus these guys that have thousands and thousands of dollars and these high tier weapons that they don't really practice with. They don't really trust. They don't really practice, you know, the dry firing, the reloading, all this stuff. Like, to be good at this is the same thing as to be good at anything what you do with your personal life and your businesses or in mine. You know, I didn't learn how to run a restaurant just by, you know, filling an application out and going, all right, cool, I'll start tomorrow and I'll learn everything. No, I practiced. I learned and understood the inner workings of how everything operates and how to function and how to communicate. It's the same thing with firearms. You know, I said this on a couple episodes ago. Like, I don't care if all you can afford is a high point. You have $150 and you have $50 for ammo, you know, and then you'll have another $50 in 2 weeks when you get paid. You better spend that whole $50 of ammo training with it and learning it, and then dry firing at home, and then get that other $50 worth of ammo, and that's your protection.
Indeed. And you can't, guys, you can't like buy your way into being better. You gotta just got to go through the repetitions, go through the reps, go through the training. And dry firing is super important. But this is important as well, man. I'd rather be one who shoots one gun 1,000 times than a guy who shoots 1,000 guns once. Because I'm going to be super good at the guns that I do have. I've got some guns that are strictly for fun, but I've got guns that are not for fun. They're for me to put into action when they need to be put into action. And those I train with those, I practice with those. Dry firing is a large portion of that training. So if you guys aren't dry firing, if you aren't practicing reloads, if you aren't just practicing basic things, get it in, guys. Whether it's 10 minutes a day, whether it's just 10 minutes of even EDC training, like, you know, drawn from your holster, 10 minutes goes a long way. It may seem like it's nothing, but you add that up in a week, and now you've spent, at least an hour, you know, doing dry fire training. So don't say, man, I work too much, or I get off late, or whatever. I get home, whatever it is. just make sure that you give yourself some time to get that dry fire training in. And if you can get to the range or get out shooting, of course, do that. But don't make the excuse to have a gun that's been just sitting around somewhere in your house and you haven't picked it up or touched it or done any tactical drilling or anything. Don't do that. Don't be that guy that's caught rusty, because how you train it or how you practice is how you're going to play. So if you don't have any reps in that playing, you're out there, you putting your life and your family's life up to some chance, I guess, because you have no clue how you're going to perform. So don't be that guy.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And live fire is expensive. I mean, we both can attest it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Ammo has gone up, but right now, I mean, for everybody watching, Mag Warehouse has 124 grain full metal jacket Blazer CCI ammo for 26 cents a round. That is pre-pandemic prices for 9mm. I just picked up another 250 rounds. It can be done. You should be able to feel the recoil in your firearms. You should know how to get it back on target. But kind of touching on what you said about you can't buy your way into this. Does a red dot make all the difference in the world? No, but does it help you? Yeah. If you can acquire a dot, golly, it really does make the difference. But those are things that should come down the line when you're willing to invest, when you're willing to, move up, when you've had a promotion, when you've had this, out of the other, you've had money saved up. I have one red dot on a handgun, and I have a 1X hollow on my AR. All my other guns are strictly iron sights. That's how they'll be forever. But I know the difference when I iron sights and then I fire my red dot. Like I can drill a hole out at a 1 MOA with a red dot. Without the red dot, yeah, I can still hit pretty accurately, but it's because I've trained a lot. But golly, like if you can acquire a red dot, yeah, it does make all the difference in the world.
Indeed. Man, Lorenzo he just cracked me up here. He said, AGG, how many times you said, this is my last purchase? Is it the love or an addiction? Brother, I'm telling you, man, it's like getting tattoos, man. You got to gauge yourself, man. You got to gauge yourself, man. When I started getting tattoos as a young man, they just kept going and going and going. I had to stop myself. I had to pump the brakes. Now it's been like 20 years since I had a tattoo, man. But yeah, man, it can be addictive. It can be addictive, and it's just I love guns, man. Like I love the mechanics of them. I love how they look. I love just being equipped with the ability to shoot something, to have that power in my hands. I like that feeling. I like how it feels to shoot. I like the smell of gunpowder. I like the whole experience, brother. So I'm just I'm an average gun guy. There you go. I'm definitely an average gun guy.
Yeah, I mean that's how it is. Like, yeah, it can get out of control real quick. And with somebody who, like myself, I've got 6 kids. I've got a wife to provide for. I've got a family to provide for. I don't make $1 million a year, obviously. You do need to check yourself. You need to plan around it. You need to assess it. The best thing that I can recommend for anybody looking to buy multiple guns, me and my wife, we talk about it. We sit down and we really go through it. Is there a necessity for this gun? Will this gun serve a purpose? Does it have any benefit to our life? Like my last purchase was a Ruger LCP 380. It's a 6+1 380, right? Is it a benefit to our life? Well, do I have a gun that I can run as a backup that can fit in my pocket conveniently? No. Okay. We run a co-op with people who know how to shoot, but don't always bring their guns. Can we bring that for them to put on them? Because 50 people with 1 gun apiece versus 1 man with 50 guns is an obvious choice, right?
Absolutely.
Can we put this in the hands of somebody comfortably and train them? Yes. Do we already have a caliber of this sort? Okay. Am I buying some off caliber that we don't have, and now I've got to stock up on a bunch of ammo? You walk through these scenarios with yourself, And it's better to have another person with you to be able to counteract that, because, you know, my wife is, she understands guns, you know, she likes them. But she's not a fiend like me, right? Like yourself, AGG. It's a beautiful thing. It's a work of art to me. It's creative. Any gun I get, I'm gonna go fire. I'm gonna go train with it. I'm gonna get proficient with it.
Indeed.
I need that brake, if you will. You know, I'm the gas pedal. She's the brake. Well, let's check. Why do we need this? Will it serve a purpose? Can we pass it down to our kids? What is it really doing for us? And so we've actually come to the point now where I've got one other gun, a Glock 19, that I've got a friend who wants to sell because he wants to get his wife an HK. And I'll probably buy that in the next couple of weeks. But outside of that, we had a conversation like, what's the only thing that we need? The only thing that we do not have is a hunting rifle, right? I used to have them all the time when I was growing up. I don't have them anymore. So that would be okay. So if I see a great handgun on sale, I don't need it, right? If I see an AK or an AR, well, AK, I don't want an AK, but if I see another AR, if it's not going to be for a purpose of my wife carrying it, I don't need it, right? So what do we need? We need a deer hunting rifle that will go and get game, kill it efficiently and humanely with one shot. That's all we're missing. So that's our, that's our process of how we go about it.
Man, that's a good one. Shout out to D80, Delta D80 is just made a comment on this. He says, so red dot, he says, so red dot need irons and irons should have a red dot. A good testament to this way was my Gideon Optics rock torture test. 2 is 1, 1 is none. Gonna definitely check that out. If you guys hadn't seen that torture test on D80's channel, go check that out for sure. So man, what you just said about having a hunting rifle, that brings me to a point. I keep slipping on that, brother. I don't have a hunting rifle myself. All of my rifles are I wouldn't say they're hunting rifles. They could be converted if need be. I mean, I could definitely hunt with a couple of them if I had to. That's for sure. But I wouldn't say per se I've got a dedicated hunting rifle. And I agree with you. I think that's part of I think that's a necessity when you look at it. Why would you not want to have a hunting rifle? Well, maybe your environment doesn't dictate that you hunt all the time, or that is something that's going to be used all the time. But again, as things change, it's always good to have that preparation, to be prepared. Listen, guys, you'll probably never have to shoot your gun at anybody or have a gun shot at you in your life ever. I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. We're not saying that you're going to be having gunfights twice a week. No, listen, guys, you may never ever have to use your gun in a defensive or an offensive manner. But if you have to, or should you need to, I always like the phrase, man, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Yes, no, you're absolutely correct. Because, and the other aspect, what I talked about is these are family heirlooms that you can pass down. You know, we had an issue with my grandfather who passed away 3 weeks ago.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. You know, he wasn't really a family man towards the end of his life. You know, he was a man that did work hard. I will give him that. But he has a plethora of guns. And ultimately, my family is not getting a dime. That's nobody else's business but my own. But he has a gun collection, and nobody on that side of the family wants anything to do with them. Now, you know, today, like I said, I went and picked up a couch for my parents because they were remodeling, and they're like, "Hey, do you want this couch?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, it's beautiful. I love it. I appreciate it." And my father showed me these guns, and said, I told them I didn't want them, but if you want them, I'll tell them you do. And they're viable options. I mean, Henry lever action 30-30s and a 30-06, a 308 Win Mag with a scope on it, double barrel 12 gauge. I mean, these are all guns that are very viable for hunting. It's the one thing I don't have. And so it would be a blessing to me. I believe everybody in their arsenal at some point in time should have a 308 Win Mag. A 308 Win Mag it'll take down a deer. It can take down a bear. I mean, it can take down pretty much almost every large game in America. And when it comes down to it, like you just said, the likelihood of us ever having to ever use these guns in a martial law situation, or a grocery stores are closed and it's fend for yourself and your family, are minimal, but they are possible. We just saw what happened in Israel. We just saw paragliders come in and just murder families. And, you know, godly, I bet you they wish they had at least one gun out of my arsenal, and they had none. And when it comes down to it, a deer, a standard sized buck, you know, can feed a family of my size for, if that's all we ate, 3 months. That you know, that puts in perspective how much you go when you go to the grocery store and you pick up food for your family, and how much you spend on it, and what it costs to do it. Like 3 months to live off of one animal. I mean, that's a game changer, you know. And so it's one of those things where I do believe you should have a deer hunting rifle, hands down. And I'm working on it right now. If people don't have the luxury of family heirlooms or the money or the access, there's an Axis 308 Winchester with a scope at Academy right now for $399. That's as cheap as you can find. It's a bolt action 4-round magazine, 1 box of ammunition. I mean, that's all you need. You have 20 deer potentially right there to feed your family.
Man, that's a good, hey guys, that's a good pickup for sure. Also says a hunting rifle. D80 also said, man, condolences to your grandfather, brother. Condolences to you for your loss, brother. He also pointed out that a hunting rifle will also double as a good long range rifle when you know, shit hits a fan. 1 shot, 1 kill.
Yeah, a 308 is deadly. A 308, the only thing that is viable to stop it is a level 4 plate. Level 4 plates cost more than my entire plate carrier combined with everything on it. Magazines, pouches, med kits, tourniquets, everything. One of those plates costs more than that one plate. That doesn't include the carrier. Level 4 is very expensive. And so, you know, Delta, you were absolutely right. And by the way, I saw the Gideon thing. That was freaking sweet. Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, no, a 308 Win Mag, like traveling over 2,000 feet per second, that giant grain bullet is going to, I mean, reach out and touch somebody at 300 yards, no questions asked, and they'll never even know you shot at them. Yeah, so it is a viable option. We only have 100-yard ranges down here at my gun range, but there's a couple in the area in Texas that are actually, you know, 500 and even 1,000-yard ranges. And so I do see the viability for that, but in the grand scape of things, that's one of those things that you should look at for food and survival. But if and when the time, you know, did come and you've got an invasion or a tyrannical government, yeah, that gun's going to be able to reach out and touch somebody and they don't even know you're there. So
nice. Well, man, we have hit the hour mark tonight. We don't really shoot for an hour, but we've hit that mark. And like I say, now that it's starting to get dark a little bit earlier, things are shutting down earlier. I'm on the East Coast. My man Drizo's in Texas, so he's 1 hour back on me. So I'm here. We are 10 o'clock here in Georgia, so we are going to be winding down here in just a few minutes, man. But and man, if there's any topics or anything that you want to bring up, man, before we do, brother, like the floor is yours. Like I say, tonight, I know that you wanted to, there was a couple of things you wanted to bring up, and we got to address those. And we didn't get to address one topic, but we're going to say that for next time. So we can make a whole show on that one, really, which was, you know, like I know, you know, what the topic was. So let's make a whole show on that one. I think that's very important, man. And it made me even look after you sent that message, I had to go take a look at what my own stock on that and say, man, you know what, I'm not even, I'm not good in that department, man. Like you need to have more and more wool socks. You need more stuff like that. You need more stuff like that for sure. So yeah, man, we'll dive into that, brother. We'll dive into that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely. That's one of the biggest things, guys. And I'll tell you this straight up, like you should have a good pair of boots. A good pair of boots is waterproof, but there's a whole nother topic that we could do a whole hour-long show on about, survival and getting out and about. There's a YouTuber that I suggest everybody watches. I'm sure a lot of us know who it is. Grand Thumb. He started some content over the past month about survival in urban environments and
good stuff.
I watch every single one of them. I study them. I take notes. I look at the practicality of my budget and what I can and can't afford and what I should and shouldn't get. He definitely does. He's special forces. I mean, he's the top of the top tier of guys that have trained and understand this. And he gives great advice. He's a great man. Warrior Poet Society, John Lavelle is another great man. He's a great man of God, but he was also special forces. He was one of the first Green Berets to go into Afghanistan. These guys have been through it and they understand it. And you guys should definitely go watch those guys. They'll never know who we are, probably.
Indeed. Never know, brother. Never know. We on the rise, man. We on the rise.
Never know. We are on the rise.
Yeah, we all support each other out here in this 2A community. That's for sure, man. There are some haters scattered here and there, man. But for the most part, man, everybody's out here to support and help and educate and make sure that we're all on the same page, man, to be able to defend ourselves and our families.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely correct, guys. I want to tell everybody that I appreciate y'all. We all have our day-to-day lives, and we do this out of the willingness of our hearts to spread this message, to give people the information that they don't have to go pay thousands of dollars for. Obviously AGG's got a little more experience than I do being in the military. I have trained extensively. I'll never say that I'm as good as or better than anybody, but we have out of our days to learn these things, to guide these things, and to provide this information for free. So anybody that actually does sit here and watch this, I want to let you know that I really do appreciate you. If there's anything y'all can teach us, by all means, like I will take all the knowledge. I am not better than, I am not greater than anybody on this earth. And I am always willing to learn. I know AGG is the same. This makes us better. This is iron sharpening iron right now. This is a simple conversation that impacts and touches somebody's lives and directs them in the area in which they need to go. So
absolutely, guys. Absolutely, man. No one's above anybody here, man. No one's above anybody. No one's below anybody, man. We're all right beside each other, man. And that's how we should be, man. As brothers in arms, brothers and sisters, we're all out here together, man. And we're also going to be having some series coming up in the future, highlighting women, in our sport as well. Not in our sport, but women in the shooting sport, in gun shooting sports, also into just survival and tactical training as well. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up here in the future. A lot of good shows. Going to be bringing on a organization that teaches you how to do CPR, how to do tourniquet, how to tie tourniquets properly, all that good stuff, man. I've got some lineups coming up, man. We're going to be bringing on some more people, man. So be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. It's coming soon.
Absolutely. I believe Mrs. Drees will be able to be on in a week or two. So
perfect.
Be pretty.
That'll be nice, man. That'll be nice. Yeah, man. That'll be nice, man. We bring our other halves on here, and of course, man, we got so many ideas, man. But yeah, that would be great, man, to do that. Have a show on that as well, man. Because definitely, guys, get your other halves involved. Get your wives involved. Get your fiancés, your girlfriends. If you're a woman, get your male counterpart involved. Get involved with this, guys. It can definitely be a family fun thing. Me and my fiance have fun. We've got a new laser ammo sent us out a new laser training kit at home, and you actually set it up with your it goes right into my AR, man. So I put this thing called the flash bolt into my bolt carrier. You use your regular magazine. And you set these little targets up, man, so you can practice, with your magazine changes. You get a real trigger pull. You can set the poundage for your trigger pull, and it's accurate, man, and it reaches out. So as much space as you got, it'll pick it up. You can't go as far as it can't pick up. I'll just tell you that. So So, man, if you want to get you some training and stuff like that, man, we have fun doing that. Gets the adrenaline going. We were running that a couple of days ago, man. Like I say, she felt like she was in a like in a what's those things called, man? An experience where it's fake, but it's real. I can't even think of the word right now, man. You know what I'm talking about? What is it?
Like euphoric feeling outside
like virtual reality. That's what I'm looking for. It's like a virtual reality type of thing. Even though we're right here, it just seemed it was really cool to be able to do that, run through it, run around the house, heart pumping and stuff. So, guys, get your wives involved, man. Get your ladies involved.
Absolutely, brother. No, this was amazing. I really do appreciate you having me on again, AGG. I know that these conversations are more productive for us than we realize. I always go back and watch them, and I learn something. So,
yes, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Indeed, brother. I appreciate you, man. We'll see you guys next week. Make sure you guys go out, subscribe to Trezo's channel. Make sure you check us out each and every week. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to this channel. And last comment here is, yes, grand thumb. I've been going out lately and just pushing myself in the backwoods to see how I could evade, survive, and how far I can go. Great information, great training, D80. Keep that going, brother. That's the spirit, man. That's exactly what you want to do, man. Just push yourself to the limits. If you don't have woods, go in your backyard. Go somewhere where there's woods. See what that environment feels like. Go in there, walk inside. There's going to be spider webs. There's going to be elements. And if you're not accustomed to that, or if you don't think that's going to be there, you got another thing coming. When stuff goes south, it's not going to go south in a resort. You're not going to be on a vacation. Everyone's not going to throw you your flip flops. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be muddy, cold, dirty, hot, whatever the case is. So be prepared for the worst. All right, guys, that's it, man. I don't want to make paint too bleak of a picture because, like I said, most of that stuff will probably never happen, man. But guys, man, we appreciate you for tuning in. So stay safe, stay training, and stay free.